to this, the bonus episode of this week's FYI, where we're taking a look at talent. It's a big word used in business a lot, too. We're always looking for talent. Talent manager, talent this, talent the other. So obviously it's important, not just personally, but professionally. So let's take a look at the 10 most talented people ever. We already said that Leonardo da Vinci was number 1. I took a look at a list called Straw Poll, which I thought it kind of represented all of them. And again, you can agree or disagree with me here. In fact, I'm not sure I agree with all of them. But what did they use to put this list together? What criteria? Well, the first thing is you have to define what talent is, which we tried to do in the first part. But regardless of how you define talent, there are certain individuals who stand out from the crowd. There's them and then the rest in their field. Picasso, we already said Da Vinci, Albert Einstein, which, by the way, we have an FYI episode on Einstein. Give it a listen if you haven't heard it. So, again, this is really subjective. Number 1, Leonardo da Vinci. Number 2, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was a child prodigy who composed over 600 works of music, operas, symphonies, chamber music, unmatched as far as musical talent is concerned. Albert Einstein is number 3. Number 4, Marie Curie, the first woman to win the Nobel Prize, and she made groundbreaking discoveries in the field of radioactivity and nuclear physics. Number 5 is Michael Jordan. In a game full of greats, he is the one that stands out the most. Sorry, LeBron James. Michael Jordan was doing it way before you. He invented the game. I don't mean that literally. But the way now every player has their own sneaker. Again, as I said, you have to check out that documentary. I think it's called Air. Either way, just Google Michael Jordan documentary, Nike, and it's awesome. It's a beautiful story. It's about marketing. It's about selling yourself short. To sell yourself short is to sell yourself for less than you're worth. And Michael Jordan and his family knew that they weren't going to do that. They had their ideals and they wouldn't budge. And to budge is to move. Number 6, Maya Angelou, one of the greatest poets, also a civil rights activist, and probably one of the greatest storytellers out there. Number 7 on the list, and I don't know if I agree with this, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist, and he's known for being a speaker, for communicating this stuff to kids, trying to take these complex scientific concepts and clear them up. But there's something about him I don't like. I feel like he's a phony. Again, guys, this is subjective. Number 8, Serena Williams. Poor Venus. Poor Venus. Serena's on the list, Venus isn't. Couldn't they just be a package deal? The amount of talent between the two of them is insane. Oh, and why isn't Usain Bolt on this list? Is running not a talent? Number 9 on our list is Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I think he should be further up the list. I would put him in the top 3, or maybe the top 5. Lin-Manuel Miranda is a composer, lyricist, and actor. He's revolutionized theater with his musical Hamilton. He's done Moana, or as you call it over here, Vaiana, and so many other amazing musicals that are coming out now. He is the man of the hour, the talk of the town. He is oozing with talent, and he's Hispanic. Woohoo! Puerto Rico in the house. Lin-Manuel Miranda. In fact, let's hear from Lin-Manuel Miranda right now. Because a lot of times we see these amazingly talented people and we think they don't get nervous. They're not fazed by anything. But as Lin-Manuel Miranda reminds us, we all get nervous. There are good nerves and bad nerves. Good nerves are the ones, I don't want to do a bad job. I don't want to screw up. And the bad nerves are, oh no, I'm not prepared. So as long as they're the first ones, you're good. Let's hear what Lin-Manuel Miranda said when it comes to dealing with nerves.
It's so funny. The weirdest memory popped into my head when you asked me that question, which is my first time on stage. I was in first grade, Hunter Elementary School talent show. I was lip syncing a Phil Collins song. My sister dressed me in like United Colors of Benetton. It was the 80s. And I remember feeling this stomach ache. Like it was really this stomach ache, and it felt like something that I could either fall underneath it or stand on top of it. And that's how I think of nerves. They're a fuel source, and they're rocket fuel. You can get on top of them, and they can power the ship, or you don't get on top of them, they blow up your ship.
Very interesting outlook, and a very inspirational person. And number 10, he's one of these people that polarizes everyone. We've looked at him here on FYI. I'm talking about Elon Musk. However, I wouldn't put him on the list. He wouldn't be on my list. I'm not saying he isn't talented, but where's Freddie Mercury? Where's Michael Jackson? Where's Prince? Those are people who should definitely be on the list. Who's on your list, amigos? The most talented or gifted people to ever walk the planet. And we didn't even get into tennis players. Maybe Rafa Nadal could be on that list. Either way, make your own list. Let's take a look at some unorthodox talents. There are some that I don't even know if I would consider them talents. When I was researching to prepare this, I saw a lot of people that had a weird talent that was most amount of Hello Kitty memorabilia. And yeah, that's great, but I don't think that's a talent, collecting things. So I focused on things that actually take some skill, some focus, some kind of ability you need. And the first one is the longest time balancing on one foot. Wait for it, in high heels. Ladies, what do you think that record is? So how long could you balance on one foot in high heels? Well, Aurel Bax in 2011 did it for an hour, 3 minutes, and 5 seconds. Now, why is that a talent? Well, just walking in high heels, I think, is a talent, but it takes exceptional balance and endurance. You've got to be in shape to do it. Another one, and I guess this is good if you're a swimmer or a diver, how long can you hold your breath for? Sure, it's a talent, and it reminds me of the idiomatic expression, don't hold your breath. It means don't wait for this to happen because it's never going to happen. Well, in 2021, a Croatian named Budimir Sobat held his breath for an astonishing 24 minutes and 37 seconds. Oh my Lord. It reminds me of another idiomatic expression, to do something until you're blue in the face. So Michael Jordan took jump shots till he was blue in the face. Hasta más no poder. This next one takes us over to Spain. A guy named Ismael Rivas Falcón in 2001 proved that nobody could pull a train with their beard like he could. Yeah, that's what I said. Pull a train with his beard. And this train, which weighed 2,753 kilos, was pulled over 10 meters by Ismael Rivas Falcón's beard. That's weird. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. The next one is the longest stand-up comedy show by an individual. And remember, stand-up means you have to be standing up. So this is just a record for standing, but then making people laugh and telling jokes? Well, in 2013, the Midnight Swinger, a.k.a. David Scott, performed the longest stand-up comedy show. Do you want to guess how long it lasted? It lasted 40 hours and 8 minutes. He must have had a lot of material prepared. Another weird one, cycling backwards with a violin. What? Well, cycling backwards is hard enough, but what if you're doing it while you're playing a violin? Well, Christian Adam managed to cycle 60 kilometers in 5 hours and 9 minutes backwards playing a violin. Top that, folks. It reminds me of another idiomatic expression. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Que no me llega a la cabeza. No puedo hacer más cosas a la vez. What about fast talkers? In 1995, a Canadian guy named Sean Shannon recited Hamlet's "To be or not to be, that is the question." Well, he recited this soliloquy in 23.8 seconds. Now, how many words are there in that soliloquy? 260 words. In 23.8 seconds, my brain would explode. That is fast. And speaking of fast, the fastest speed for a motorcycle ridden, wait for it, blindfolded. That's with something covering your eyes. In 2003, a guy from the UK, Billy Baxter, reached a speed of 265 kilometers per hour. He was riding a Kawasaki Ninja, and he was blindfolded. Is this talent or recklessness? I hope it was done in a place that was closed off. I mean, it's not really a bright idea to go that fast on a motorcycle, even if you're not blindfolded. And I know nothing about motorcycles, but I know the Kawasaki Ninja is fast as hell. This next person blew my mind. A person from the U.S. called Ashrita Furman, who had a very busy year in 2007. First record was the most pint glasses balanced on his chin. Take a guess as to how many pint glasses he was able to balance on his chin. 81 pint glasses for 12.10 seconds. And as if that weren't enough, he also took the record for the fastest time pushing an orange 1 mile with your nose. Yeah, that's what I said. He pushed an orange with his nose for 1 mile in 22 minutes and 41 seconds. It sounds like this guy needs a real hobby. Hey, I'm not trying to take anything away from these people, but that is just a weird talent, in air quotes. Some of these talents are debatable, and as I said, I left out all of these largest collection of snails. That's not a talent, it's just collecting things. Nothing against collectors. As many of you know, I collect model planes. I also have a few watches, but I wouldn't say I collect watches. Speaking of watches, in 1998, Kim Song-do from Seoul, South Korea, ate 5 watches. I'm talking about the watch part, not the wristband part. But still, what? I mean, you're chewing on gears and glass and, oh man. Well, he ate 5 watches in a period of 1 hour and 34 minutes. Is this a talent or is this just complete insanity? I don't think it's a really good idea to eat metal. When they say it's good to have a diet that's high in iron, I don't think that's what they meant. Jeez Louise. As I said, we're going to take a look at these talent shows now. Let's define a talent show, because these are things that are not just on TV, but I remember in American schools, we've been doing talent shows since I can remember. And it's an event in which participants perform the arts of singing, dancing, lip syncing, so that answers our question from before, acting, martial arts, playing an instrument, poetry, comedy, or other activities to showcase skills. Many talent shows are performances rather than contests, but some are actual contests. In the instance of a contest, participants may be motivated to perform for a reward, trophy, or prize of some kind. For example, a high school might not have many students with an interest in performing in front of the student body. So if they offer incentives, then the kids will participate in the contest. I'll never forget, my friends and I lip-synced Paradise City. Guns N' Roses. Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? But we didn't sing it. We lip-synced it. I must say, though, we did get into it. We were jumping around. I wore a wig. I think I was Slash. I don't remember, but that's one of the few things I remember from grammar school. That wasn't high school. That was grammar school. It was in our gym, and I remember it clearly. Wow, it's funny the things you remember. Now, it wasn't until the late 40s that talent shows made their way to TV, or as they call it now, reality TV. And this was ever since the airing of a show called Doorway to Fame in 1947. This was a show that was only on for 2 years, but it set the stage for talent shows to come. Some of the most famous ones in the United States: The Gong Show. That was funny because that one was a little bit before my time, but I remember when they didn't like your performance, there was a gong, and you would get gonged. Hence the name, The Gong Show. This one was more my time, Star Search. That's where Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Justin Timberlake, to name a few, got their start. You can even find those videos on YouTube. Just search for Star Search. Hey, it's easy to remember. Then you've got your American Idol, The X Factor, Got Talent, The Voice. The list is endless. But how far is too far? These shows have created a lot of controversy, too. A lot of people say they were mistreated when they were doing these shows. I mean, if what they record is an indication of what's going on these shows, and I'm not talking about all of them, but sometimes they're not giving people constructive criticism. They're just insulting them. And I don't think that's helping young people. I don't think it's helping them develop their confidence and their talent. I think it's just putting them down for the sake of putting them down. And if you think that that's good television, well then enjoy. You won't find me watching that. And some of these judges, I know they're just playing a role, but I don't want to mention any names of any shows, but certain cooking shows, there have been suicides. I'm not saying it's tied to the show, but there have been an unusually high number of people who have committed suicide or gone into a depression because of the pressure on these shows or the treatment. And I'm not talking about kids. Kids are impressionable, but I'm talking about adults. Recently, there was something in Spain about the cooking show, I won't say the name, and one of the judges insulted somebody unnecessarily. It was very harsh, because one thing is saying, you're a horrible cook, you're not inspired, whatever. And another thing is just saying you're a weak human and, you suck. And remember, you're saying it in front of millions. These programs have a lot of viewers. So is this good TV, watching people suffer? Seeing people totally stressed out, sweating, being pushed up against the ropes, being bullied. There's an infamous one from the X Factor New Zealand. Thankfully, I've never seen the X Factor, and I don't even know who these people are, but these judges are supposedly famous. Here, let me tell you their names, and maybe you'll know who they are. Natalia Kills and Willie Moon. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know who they are. But they were judges on the X Factor New Zealand. And the way they talk to this young man is just disgusting. The good thing is, they were fired because of these comments. People in the audience said, guys, one thing is being critical, and another thing is just being nasty. And these people, I won't even say their names again because they're not that famous, really took it too far. You could really hurt somebody by destroying them. And I don't think they were talking about the way he sings or anything. I think this person just had a personal vendetta and was just acting nasty. Again, thank God good taste prevailed, and these people were fired from the show as far as I know. Let's listen to these absolutely rude judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to state the obvious. We have a doppelganger in our midst. As an artist who respects creative integrity and intellectual property, I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband. From the hair to the suit, do you not have any value or respect for originality? You're a laughingstock. It's cheesy, it's disgusting.
Cleopatra?
I personally found it absolutely artistically atrocious. I am embarrassed to be sitting here in your presence having to even dignify you with an answer of my opinion.
I'm all right.
Yeah, Joe,
Thank
to
you,
me,
Natalia. You're beautiful.
to me it just feels a little bit cheap and absurd. I mean, it's like Norman Bates dressing up in his mother's clothing. It's just a little bit creepy, and I feel like you're going to stitch someone's skin to your face and then kill everybody in the audience. But,
Okay.
do you?
I'm gonna say it. It's disgusting. You make me sick. It's absolutely disgusting. You have no identity. I can't stand it. I'm ashamed to be here.
I think I look really good, and
I think you
I
look
don't
good
care.
because you're dressed as my husband.
Actually, you're dressed better than her husband.
thank you, Mel. Thank you, Mel.
Actually, Mel needs glasses.
And they've been so well behaved. Mel?
Do you know what, Joe?
Wow.
See,
Wow. Yeah, that's really nice. You're copying my husband. He's wearing a suit. Did your husband invent the suit? Anyway, these people are exactly what the problem is with these kind of shows. Thankfully, it's not everybody. You get some people who really are helping the young people, but there are other people who are just mistreating them. And we've talked about that. I don't remember in what episode, but when you've got young people who are hungry, they're talented, and they want to make it, they're very easy to manipulate. I was watching the Star Search with Britney Spears when I was preparing this, and it was because I was going to use an audio clip, and I decided against it because it was just disgusting and inappropriate. It's hosted by a guy named Ed McMahon, and you know what? I'm going to play it for you now, but not to show you this was Britney Spears' first time on TV, but just to show you the sexual harassment and abuse that she received as a 10-year-old girl by a man in his 60s named Ed McMahon. So as I said, initially I wasn't going to share this with you because I thought it was disgusting. But now that's exactly why I'm going to share it with you. He asks a 10-year-old girl if she has a boyfriend. He tells her she has beautiful eyes. It's creepy. And sadly, this is not just one isolated event. Let's hear Britney Spears and creepy Ed McMahon on Star Search.
Our current champion is going for win number 2 and sings to become next year's champion. Does that sound nice, gang? Next year's champion? Okay. From Kentwood, Louisiana, here is 10-year-old Britney Spears.
Love can build a bridge.
I noticed last week you had the most adorable, pretty eyes. Do you have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
Why not?
They're mean.
Boyfriends? You mean all boys are mean? I'm not mean. How about me?
Well, it depends.
I get that a lot. Now, you grew up on a farm in Missouri. Tell me about that.
Well, Ed, it was real nice.
So far, host 0, youngsters 2. Okay, good luck to both of you.
Ugh, disgusting. Totally disgusting. And it's almost accepted. I can't believe nobody said anything back then. Nobody saw that as weird or creepy. What is wrong with society? And I think social media, too, is watering down talent. Now it's not about having talent, it's about attracting an audience. So if you do outrageous things, then you'll have millions of subscribers. You don't need talent. You need a good PR person, and you need to be a little bit crazy, willing to do stupid things. I'm not saying all people who are famous on the internet are famous for doing stupid things. But I remember when I was a kid, if you wanted to be famous, you had to be the best at something. And now it's just you have to have more followers than the other guy, which doesn't mean you're the best. I guess it means you're the best at getting followers. But it doesn't mean you're the best at anything, unless you consider talking to a camera to your audience a thing, which, yes, it's a skill, it's a talent. And now we're going to wrap up with some vocabulary and idioms. Let me just remind you, in the first part, we looked at if you're cut out for something or if you're not cut out for something. That means estás hecho o no hecho para algo. Encontrar tu vocación, you call it vocación. We do say a vocation, but it's not very common. We would say to find your calling. He found his calling. We mentioned the show The X Factor. Another way to call it is the it factor. Tienes eso, that je ne sais quoi. And you're a natural, or you can use it as an adjective. He's a natural-born singer. He can do it in his sleep. That means easily. He knows music inside and out, and that's what gives him an edge. And an edge is another way of saying an advantage. That's why he's in a class of his own. He's second to none. These are all expressions that we use when we're looking at being the best and pursuing your talent. Because some people have a hidden talent. You don't discover it until later on. How many people do you know were working in Wall Street, for example, and everybody said, dude, you've missed your calling. You've got to be a stand-up comedian. The whole office is in stitches every day with your stories. So that's why you have to be open-minded. You might have talents that are just lurking below the surface. Another thing we talk about when we talk about talent is the talent pool. This is a swimming pool where only talented people can go. No, I'm just kidding. A talent pool is the available talent. So what is the talent pool like in Spain? El talento disponible. Are the people here at the top of their game? Are they in the big leagues? Or is it Bush League? Bush League is a way of saying novice. Because if you're going to come, you've got to bring your A game. That means bring your best. You need to be on point. But don't forget, none of this comes without some blood, sweat, and tears. And a little creativity. Creativity that goes a long way. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from the one and only, His Airness, Michael Jordan.
My whole creativity came from making it look easy, making it look different, and being very creative amidst the air and other people. How did I get that talent? I mean, that's like asking an artist how did he learn how to paint. It was instilled, he found it, he improved on it, and it became him. That's exactly what I did with this whole air thing. It's not all of me. I do other things. I'm able to do other things once I'm in the air. And I think it shows the artistry that I have, that I've perfected over years of playing the game of basketball.
Well, there you go, folks. We have reached the end of the episode. I hope you were inspired to discover some of your hidden talents. And if not, to pursue the things that make you happy. I hope this episode made you happy, and I hope you'll join us in next week's FYI.